Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, just on the Brexit, I think Brexit is going great. It's going great. Yeah, we still need to. We're adjusting to it.
Yeah, axing pensioners' winter fuel allowance, taking $5 billion from disabled people.
You can't rely on handouts. But anyway, that's that. Brexit is going great. Yeah, it's going great, and people.
So what does a £37 billion hit to the economy mean to you, John?
Country needs to adjust.
Yeah, but so we're worse off. We've got to adjust to being worse off. Yeah, adjust to being worse off.
Yeah, it's going great, I think. On the savings thing,
right?
I don't think 10% having those is really that big a number. Really, I mean, it's only 10%.
31% of less than 1,000.
Yeah, but anyway, but I don't think that's that many. But anyway, I don't know anyone that would tell me what their savings are. I don't know anyone, even my family, and a lot of people say they're poor. And they've got loads of money stashed away.
Maybe it's because they don't like your ideas on Brexit, and they think, if you think that £37 billion a year worse off is a good thing for the country, they're not going to tell you about their financial situation, are they? Because you're going to laugh at them.
People don't tell each other their savings, and they say that a lot of people say they're poor, and they've got loads of money, and they end up suddenly they're buying a house.
Right. So, John, you're one of these people who disregards the data, and then you go on the basis that you know that everybody's actually much better off, which probably explains why you think that Brexit's a great success. By every metric, it's a huge disaster. 18,000 people they questioned, John. 18,000 people.
What I hope is definitely not going to come out of Reset today, but I just wanted to say I've been listening to you for years and years, Nick, right? And I will continue listening to you because I'm different to you politically and you challenge me. But I've got to say, and without trying to cause offence, right, I feel like you, Richard Tice, Nigel Farage, the Telegraph journalist you always get on, etc., etc., you've got everything wrong for the last decade, basically, Nick. You backed Brexit, and that's just made us poorer and less powerful in the world. You backed Liz Truss and her budget, and that made us poorer and less powerful in the world.
All I would say,
it just goes on and on and on. And at what point do we all stand back and say, "Okay, we've done everything wrong. Let's try something different"?
What does something different look like? What would that be?
Well, in my opinion, it should be getting back in the EU. To be honest with you.
So the people who voted, we just ignore them.
No, we don't ignore them. They haven't been ignored. Brexit was enacted. We left the EU.
Peter, why do you suppose, whether they call it the UKIP party, the Brexit party, or Reform UK, why does it always do so well in local elections and by-elections? Why do you suppose that would be?
Because when people are poor, because I'm a lorry driver, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just a normal working class dude, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I speak to normal working class people all the time. And when their life is hard, usually you'll look for something to blame. And people like Nigel Farage give them something to blame.
You relieved to hear the news, or what, John? Good morning.
Yeah, definitely. I think, thank God he's moving on. He's just past his sell-by date. He's become boring and predictable. I mean, there's so many other footballers that could be commentating and doing their punditry on the shows.
When you say you mean his commentary has been boring?
Yeah, he's just too laid back. He's just become a bit tedious. And I don't know why does he think anyone's interested in his tedious ramblings on politics and Gaza? I mean, what's that got to do with it?
I mean, I have to say, it does get a lot of attention. He's in all the newspapers again now. I think it's the third lead on a lot of the news websites. It's because he does have a heck of a following, you have to say it.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that anyone... Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that he's talking any sense anyway. I mean, anyone can check out idiotic comments.
We talk about all sorts of politicians. That doesn't mean they've got any sense either, does it?
Yeah, but he's a football. He should stick to football.
I think my point of view, you probably hear my accent, I'm from Northern Ireland, is more of a long-term scope on this. So obviously we all know about the Troubles and the troublesome past that Northern Ireland's had. And I just think Israel, I understand this whole wanting to eradicate Hamas, but realistically, how is that even going to happen? Their array still very much lived on in Northern Ireland. However, I know a lot of that is driven from bitterness and from what people had experienced. Now, I'm in my 30s, and I can say I've got people of my generation who would still hold that bitterness, but I have nieces and nephews who are 18, 19, 20, and they're much more cross-community, and they don't hold that because they've lived through a period of peace, because of the peace process and everything that went along with that. So I just think with the horrors that are happening, the injustice that is happening to these poor children that we are seeing, I just think, there's going to be another generation of Hamas. How do you even get Hamas out? This is the guy that was on after you.
Well, you didn't get the IRA out, did you? You got the the provos were replaced by the real. But what you do is you put them beyond the pale, to use that lovely expression. You put them all as far beyond the pale as you can and build strong political structures with different people. Yeah. That's what happened in Northern Ireland.
But unfortunately, we're at a place where families have been wiped out. That bitterness will live on for generations to come.
You seem to have a big problem with pensioners, don't you?
I've got a big problem with people's money going to wealthy people. Yeah.
Okay, so how come you're not saying anything about, because they're not free, because there's no such thing as a free lunch, okay? So the free dinners at school and the free breakfast at school.
Because I think some people need it.
Well, so don't some pensioners need the eating allowance?
Yeah, absolutely they do, of course.
So
that's why I'm not angry with pensioners. I'm angry with the money going from taxpayers to wealthy pensioners.
But you're only talking about that, which has been taken away. It's not been reinstated yet, so it has actually been taken away. So you should be very happy.
I am.
Because it's been taken away and they're not getting it.
I think it's right that wealthy pensioners don't get it. I think, as I just said, Lee, the way in which Labour have done this is too blunt. They needed to taper it. They needed to means test it. They can do it as part of taxation. But it's absolutely, the principle of what they're doing is completely and utterly right.
How many shows have you dedicated to the pensioners getting the eating allowance?
Well, because last time I looked,
I count 7.
Yeah, okay. Well, last time I looked...
And how many shows have you dedicated to millionaires' kids getting free school dinners and free breakfast?
Oh, I've done a few.
How many? Go on.
Oh, come on, mate. I've done a few on those.
No, you ain't.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about David Beckham's kids and Richard Branson's kids and Alan Sugar's kids.
So the parents that have got enough money to pay for the dinners and breakfast of their own kids shouldn't get the money, should they? I
agree. Yeah, agreed.
So, but why do you not discuss that? Well, why have you not had 7, 8 shows about that?
We can do that if you want, but your point seems less to be, Lee, if I may, about the point at stake here, and more about the editorial choices made by the programme. Now, listen, you're entitled to your view on frankly anything, sir. If you want to come and work as a producer here, I'm sure we can set it up.
I wouldn't mind being an actual presenter.
Well, we can have a go as well.
You might get a bit of other side of things, Tom. Walking round.
What, even when we agree on it?
In an anti-clockwise circle, it really must be.
In a what?
It must be terrible trying to get about. I can't get anywhere because I'm in an anti-clockwise circle.
All right. Don't know what that means.
Right, I've had to calm down. I was pacing up and down thinking, because I've heard, you know what, I'm going to try and say it constructively.
Go on.
Now, I've heard, Keir Starmer, he shouldn't have taken it away at the start. Well, I understand, but I think it shows a sign of strength for him to now reconsider it. And he's only a year in, if that. I think that shows a sign of strength. But I've heard so many people today, especially, and before this, just jump on a bandwagon we can't vote for him. Oh, he's a disgrace. He's this, he's that. And, I think the fact that he has gone back on it is a good thing. And you know what? People are so fickle. They are so short-sighted.
What are they fickle about?
Well, they forget what we've gone through the last 14 years. I'd like to see any of them try and do a good job because there's no money. There is no money, and they are having to try and salvage this country. And it just annoys me that you get all these people just, do jump on the bandwagon, say all this, like, no, not going to do it, and we'll vote for Nigel Farage. Oh, Nigel Farage! Be careful what you wish for. And do you know what? Do you know what it is, Ben? It's sick. It's selfishness, and it's sick, and it really annoys me.
It's sick, Tony, did you say?
Yes, it is sick.
Why is it sick?
Because they should be thinking that, this country, there's been no good news in this country for years.
Yeah, I have a Gosselin injection, an implant in my stomach every 3 months because I've got an advanced prostate cancer.
Okay.
And I had it 3 years ago. It started because my testosterone was raging.
Yes.
And it was like my PSA went up to 3,800. I was basically dying. And also that gave me a really, really active sex life, even though I was 74.
So the cancer caused the testosterone to go up?
Yeah, it does. The testosterone feeds the cancer.
I didn't know that.
So,
crikey.
yeah,
and it reflects on your libido.
Yeah, because it makes it really high. Obviously, if
I get it. I just didn't know it. I hope I don't sound stupid. This is all news to me.
Yeah, I had a partner 30 years younger than me.
Yeah, all right, Barry, mate. And no one likes to show off.
You're jumping out of cars, shouting at people.
Oh, I see. Oh, crikey. So not only were you horny, for want of a better word, but you were also pretty angry.
Yeah, so here we are 2.5 years down the line. I mean, the side effects I was told was erectile dysfunction.
Right.
But after about 3 weeks now, I can't remember what it was like to have a sexual desire. I have no desires whatsoever. It's completely changed my personality. It's blissful. It's peaceful. I can't remember what that was like.
Wow.
It's a personality change.
You wouldn't have fancied this in your 20s, would you, or your 30s? And of course, we should stress your appetites were entirely healthy.
Insatiable, mine were. I've had therapy, and I've realised I had an insatiable sexual appetite because I've obviously always had a lot of testosterone.
Yeah, okay.
But now
so naturally high levels that then got turbocharged by the illness.
I'm now into intermittent fasting. I've lost weight. I'm in the gym all the time. I'm back into my Buddhism, meditation. I don't have that other thing. When I'm with people, I don't think, would I fancy him or not? Would I? I have no sexual desires whatsoever. And it's hard to explain to someone that doesn't. You obviously had them.
Right.
So to never have them. I mean, yes. I never ever have them anymore. And I can't remember what that was like.
You sound absolutely liberated.
Blissful.
Peaceful. What an extraordinary word. I love you, mate. I really do. That is one of the
Thanks
most...
a lot, James.
No, don't go yet.
I want to say that I think we got this one wrong because no Jew ever blew up our trains, ever carried rucksacks on his back and blew up concerts, and I could go on. Now, Gaza is Egypt. And the Palestine.
What do you mean Gaza is Egypt?
Gaza, when Israel had that war and they took on all four of those countries and won that war, that fell underneath their remit.
Gaza is not governed by Egypt, Winston.
It used to be Fatah, yeah?
Which is not Egypt.
If you look at it geographically, you'll see that it's adjacent to Egypt. It belonged to Egypt. It used to be...
But it doesn't now.
It used to be controlled by Egypt.
Winston, what's your point, sir? Because it's not governed by Egypt.
My point is, Egypt need to open up the gates, let those people out. They've even been charging, they've pinned up those Gazans in Egypt. They cannot get out. They're even charging at the border.
But Winston, I'm gonna stop you there because you're going wildly off topic with respect. Talk to me about the suggestion from Netanyahu that Keir Starmer is somehow responsible, indirectly or directly, who knows, for what happened in Washington.
Because those people will not live with Israel. Israel used to have
which people?
The Gazians and the Palestine, they're all the same.
Who are all the same? What, 2.1 million people are all the same?
You've got to realise.
No. In what way are those 2.1 million people all the same?
What I'm saying, I didn't say they're the same.
You literally just said they're all the same. Those were your words.
I say that Gaza was Egypt.
No, Winston, sorry. I'm not. You're not going to rewrite history. You just said to me, those Palestinians are all the same. And I'm asking what you meant by that.
I didn't say, that maybe...
You did. You literally said it about 1 minute ago.
I'm saying that what they've got to do also is chase Hamas out of Gaza and stop... Because when they allow them to have missiles underneath...
All right, so they chase Hamas out of Gaza. And what about the civilian population of Gaza?
Egypt is a key player in this.
Why do you keep going on about Egypt? What do you want Egypt to do?
The whole of Sinai...
Right, so you want Israel to ethnically cleanse the entirety of the Gaza Strip and force all the people to go to Egypt?
They've got no option.
Who's got no option?
No option.
Israel has no option but to ethnically... but to ethnically cleanse 2.1 million people. Okay, so Israel... Winston, let's just be clear in what's saying. You are telling me that Israel has no option but to carry out an act of ethnic cleansing against 2.1 million people, the vast majority of whom are civilians.
When they...
No, yes or no? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we'll leave that there. Winston, thank you very much indeed. I mean, I'm slightly lost for words.